welcome to a special edition of our show where we showcase the best of cover story. In fact, our tryst with television began with a bang, for it was in this show that Digvijay Singh first articulated his two-power center theory. After that, there have been many more controversies by many other high-profile leaders. So let's first begin by taking a look at all the controversial statements. Do you think that Rahul will follow his mother's model and have a Manmohan Singh in place while he would be calling the shots from the back?
I personally feel there should not be two power centers, and I think whoever is the Prime Minister must have the authority to function. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is the last person to interfere in governance.
You know, there is a Modi and then there is a vacuum. Isn't this vacuum troubling you?
I think Rahul will take over. I think he should take over. There is no use of wasting any more time. He may fall, but then he'll rise again. The time has come when he must jump into the arena and catch the bull by the horn. No more. There's no more time left. He can't stay on the side. There's no way. You can't be on the shore and watch the ship sink. You should be in the ship, trying to take it to the shore.
Well, why is Modi a Rambo? Why did you call him that?
I did not call him anything. I am not in the business of labeling people. I only drew your attention to a story which was published in one of the newspapers, where some gentleman claimed that on his own, in situ or suo moto, on a day when all the elements of national power collectively rescued 10,000 people, he had actually pulled out 15,000 people on his own. Even if you go by the logistical strength that he claims to have deployed, it would have required even a much more Herculean effort, which Rambo makes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 put together, the different serials of his movies, to get the number of people out in a single day, as someone claims.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi's office, they have put posters all over in every bus station and railway station, where they have put my telephone number and said, if you want a prostitute for the night, please call this number. I was flooded with this number. Then they put my wife's number, which they got from the Supreme Court directory. I have not complained. I filed an FIR. The police did the investigation and said, "Sahab, आप ऊपर से हमें permission लाइए क्योंकि ये ऊपर तक जाती है."
Police told you that it's from
yes,
Rahul Gandhi's office.
Well, I won't say what the police, you will get the police into trouble. But they say ऊपर तक जाती है, अब ऊपर से हम लोगों को कहलवा दीजिए कि ये करना है.
I'd even offered the Delhi Chief Minister to come and send a team to buy onions which are available. When onions were being sold in Delhi for 100 rupees, onions were available in Nasik Mandi for 40. Somebody should have just came, bought the onions in Nasik and taken into Delhi within 24 hours. The truck reaches Delhi and made sure that the prices get tempered. We
Why
in Mumbai.
didn't this happen? You offered the Delhi CM.
I offered the Delhi CM sent a team, 3 officers came to Nasik, they went to all the mandis, but I don't know why they didn't buy.
How do you see the challenge of the Aam Aadmi? This is a wild card that has come into. It was Delhi, it was always Congress, BJP.
There is no challenge from Aam Aadmi. Actually, frankly speaking, there is a polarization between Congress and BJP. And Congress strategist plan as a Aam Aadmi party as their B team, guided by Sandip Dixit. And their expectation is that whatever the votes which are against Congress party, they will go to Aam Aadmi party and they will weaken the BJP.
To try and portray as if certain communities in this country need a man with a sword, on a kind of a horseback saying, I'll save you in a manner. So I think this whole portrayal that's happening is subtle, yet it's, I think, something where you're trying to, build a sense of fear in people of a particular community on either side, and then reap a political harvest out of that.
Okay, what happened? Nitish Kumar ने विश्वासघात किसने किसके साथ किया?
नीतीश कुमार जी के अपने
क्या कंपल्सन
सुविधा की उनके मौका परस्ती है, उनके मौका परस्ती है, ये अपॉर्चुनिटी.
And then reap a political harvest out of that.
Okay, what happened? Nitish Kumar ने विश्वासघात किसने किसके साथ किया?
नीतीश कुमार जी के अपने
क्या कंपल्सन
सुविधा की उनके मौका परस्ती है, उनके मौका परस्ती है, ये अपॉर्चुनिज्म है. ये सुविधा की राजनीति है। कनपट्टी पे बंदूक रख के कहो मेरे को आप मोहब्बत करो, ऐसे नहीं होती है।
Privately, you know the Mulayam Singh and Akhilesh very well. What is their opinion of Congress leaders?
Utter dislike and contempt. You must have seen that on every issue, whether it is FDI investment, whether it is food security bill, up till last moment SP's stand was no, we will not support. And some invisible force or compulsion compelled him to fall in the line. That is, what is that invisible force and compulsion that can best be briefed by Samajwadi Party.
Cover story also caught up with the young and the downright restless. From Milind Deora, Sachin Pilot, Dharmendra Pradhan, Jitin Prasad to Anurag Thakur. These are the leaders of India tomorrow, the Gen Next. So we got a look at both their vision and their style statement. Rahul Gandhi, is he going to be a prime ministerial candidate?
Well, he's certainly going to lead the party in 2014 polls. He's now the vice president of the party. He's bringing about massive changes in the organization. And I've said this before, he's not an individual, unlike Mr. Modi or some other people who have made it their life's agenda to attain a certain position. Mr. Gandhi is working to spread the party's ideology further and further, to make it strong where we are weak. And positions and power is something that is not the only focus for his politics.
Why don't you name Rahul? I mean, everybody is seeing it as a Rahul versus Modi. लगता है कि Modi is too keen and Rahul is too reluctant.
As far as any naming goes, what you name in your own in-house, what RSS names is not the Prime Minister of this country.
No,
what
but
the
it's
people
the face.
will vote,
This is what
the people will vote and the people of this country will decide is going to be the Prime Minister of this country.
He's always missing on those times, crucial times, when country wanted to hear what is his opinion. Whether it was 16 December incident which happened in Delhi, where a young woman was raped in a bus, whether it was the Lokpal bill, or whether the recent incident happened in Uttarakhand, the national calamity. He was traveling abroad, celebrating his birthday. I got nothing against him. It is his life. He can celebrate his birthday in India or abroad. It is up to him. When country wants to listen to him, what is his opinion, he's always missing.
We are actually appearing as a party that's only pro-poor and not pro-middle class.
We as a party have a long way to go in better communicating and better engaging with India's middle class. That's something I've been trying to do for the last 9 years. To some extent, I would say I've succeeded, but I still have a lot more to do in trying to get my party to, of course, focus on rural India, to focus on the urban poor, to focus on the plight and the welfare of farmers, but at the same time, brings a large part of their attention towards the aspirations of India's youth, India's job seekers, India's students, and largely India's middle class.
आप हमको कहते हो कि ये अयोध्या वाली पार्टी है, मंदिर वाली पार्टी है। अगर मैं फेसबुक जाऊं, आप कहते हो आप यहाँ तक क्यों चले गए?
So both Ayodhya and Facebook are in the BJP's.
There is no dichotomy. There is no dichotomy. There are so many material are coming out how youngsters is pro-religion or they are pro-Asta.
What about the autonomy of the CBI?
Whenever the CBI does a case against a congressman, the CBI is impartial. But once it attacks, if anyone from the BJP is found guilty by the CBI, it becomes a partial, it is working on the, it becomes the Congress Bureau of Investigation.
And then we have the smooth talkers, the League of the Polished and the Suave Gentlemen.
You know, this word decisive masks a certain fondness for an authority figure who will lay down the law, as it were, for the country.
A leader?
Well, I think there are various forms of leadership. In many ways, the most effective form of leadership in the 21st century is a leadership which doesn't leave a personal mark, but which delivers results, where the people who are being led say, gosh, we did it ourselves. The other kind of thing that says, I am the hero, I know everything, I will take decisions, I will tell you what to do, follow me, that is a mid-20th century style that frankly is no longer credibly practiced anywhere in the world, because the world is a more complex place and those kinds of simple one-man riding on a big horse solutions are simply no longer acceptable to the vast majority of the democratically conscious public.
The BJP wants to stand outside Parliament, wants to go to the TV studios and make comments, they can make those same points with Parliament running. What is the point they made which cannot be made in a discussion or debate in Parliament? So first, you say no discussion, no debate. We'll stand outside and say what we want to say. And I'm saying, whatever you're saying, please say it on the floor of the House. You can demand the resignation on the floor of the House.
They are accusing you of Congress and also you using words that are not really parliamentary, like calling Modi a frog or a khalnayak.
I never called him.
You have not
called him a frog.
Meenakshi Lekhi has on record saying that.
I'm not quite sure about Meenakshi Lekhi's ability to understand Hindi Mahavra, but there's a Hindi Mahavra which is Kuhen ka mendak. What does that mean? What does that mean? It only means somebody who has a confined world view.
Yeah, Rajnath ji के क्या chances हैं? Are you not in the race?
नहीं, मैं तो पार्टी का प्रेसिडेंट हूँ, मुझे ये डिसाइड करना है. Who should be projected as a prime ministerial candidate?
But the consensus can come on your name also.
नहीं, कोई सवाल ही नहीं. मैं तो मीटिंग प्रेसाइड करूँगा उसे. इसलिए उस रेस में मेरे शामिल होने का सवाल ही नहीं.
And now a look at the loose cannons. These are the veterans who don't have the pressure of youth to be earnest. They can just be themselves, politically incorrect and trigger happy. You are a loose cannon also, there's no stopping you.
Loose cannon is the wrong definition. You can say something else. People say maverick. Maverick is a compliment in America, by the way. The Indians think it is some kind of maverick is a horse which can't be tamed. It's a fact, I can't be tamed.
Mr. Singh, you were once known as a man who had many great friends. There was this famous trinity of Amitabh Bachchan, Anil Ambani and Amar Singh. Three of you used to holiday together. You were never one without the other. But now you are known as a man who has lost many great friends.
These so-called high and mighty, including Mr. Bachchan, for whose rainy days I am known to have stood for, he himself has said in an interview, I don't want to be arrogantly pompous, that had there not been Amar Singh's existence in my life, I would have ended up driving taxi on Bombay Road. But this realization is for good PR exercise and to show that, look, how grateful I am. That because whole country knows what I did for Bachchans.
So what went wrong with Amitabh?
His self-centered man, very pragmatic man, and when again I was expelled, Mr. Bachchan told me, can't you do something? Because for Jaya Bachchan, this Rajya Sabha seat is like a jewelry. She can't do without it. So the Bachchan tag and the feeling that I am the first lady of Indian cinema and the inbuilt arrogance and that complex. For instance, when Black happened in Amit's life and everyone was praising, her instant reaction was, what big deal. Long time back in courses I have done the same thing and in a better way. She did, but she remembers of her achievement and she is very cryptic, conservative and miser in accepting somebody else's achievement. That is why it is very difficult to interact with her. She is always bitter and frustrated. So all these people are good people, nice people, focused to their agenda. Anil for money making, Amitabh for resolving his crisis. So he is committed and focused to his career. Wherever Anil Ambani will get moolah and money for the sake of the growth of his empire, he will go there. Today it is Chidambaram. Tomorrow it may be because he went to vibrant Gujarat and said, Narendra Modi, Mr. Narendra Modi, I see reflection of Bapu in you. So they may say anything for anyone, they may do anything for... I think that all these people who are self-centered, focused to their goal, they belong to one party only, that is OPIM, Opportunist Party of India most.
How do you see Advani today?
Well, I never dreamt that the day would come when I'd have an ounce of sympathy for this man. But to see him ousted, he's actually been hoist with his own petard. Because they used to, the BJP types used to call me a Makhole ki aulad. I would say that this Modi is an Advani ki aulad in that sense, not in any other sense, not in any pejorative sense. But the man is in some way the proto-Advani. And the Deutero Advani is no longer Modi. So he sees now the terrible destiny to which the Modi mindset is leading the BJP. He has succeeded in pulling the BJP out of that mindset. And now at the moment when physically, mentally, the man is entirely deserving of being the leading figure in the BJP, he is ousted by a shadow of his former self. I mean, this requires Shakespeare to write a proper tragedy of Advani. I can't. It requires a literary skill that I don't have.
The divisive power of Modi. You know, you saw even now Advani ji, when he shares the stage with Modi, he looks the other way when Modi touches his feet. The body language between the two is still very bad. It's very grudgingly that Advani has agreed.
No, that is, we are being very unfair to Advani.
You saw that rally in Indore.
He blessed them. We are not a dynasty. I agree with you.
But why he turned the other cheek?
No. I'm sorry. It's not a dynasty. We differ also. We debate. We discuss. But once a decision is taken, the entire party says the same thing. It is not a case where some Yuvraj issues as Farman and Sarmans and the party has to fall in line. The problem is, let me ask a question. You are asking about Advani and Modi. Priya, be very honest to me. Have you asked the Congress party about Rahul Gandhi and Manmohan Singh? The biggest divide in the Congress party? The shameful divide? Manmohan Singh की पगड़ी उछाली Rahul Gandhi ने आपने कभी सवाल नहीं पूछा. And don't delete it. Never. I'm sorry to say that. That is the double standard of media who keep on harping about divide in the BJP, which is not there, and a clear cleavage in Congress party, but he will never speak. Why? He's the Prince Charming.
But do you regret your friendship with Manmohan Singh? How is
No,
it still?
no, I don't.
I mean, the 2G case, he was summoned to the
He's
court.
He's a good man without
No,
his
has
mind.
it been harmed? Is it still
No,
the fact that it was your...
He's done one great favor to India, Manmohan Singh.
But because of you, he had to give that explanation to court.
Yeah, of course. If he's done wrong, he will be. I won't leave him. But he's a good man. I know it. Second, he has done one great help to India.
Which is?
Didn't resign. Had he resigned, that Buddha would have come as Prime Minister. And he stopped that. India should be eternally grateful to Manmohan Singh for that.
You called him a Feku Obama. Now Modi's people are saying that actually in 2004, Modi said in Gujarat, yes,
I would like to see that bite.
It's on YouTube.
This is again.
But that bite is there.
This is again created by the people.
By your, the spin doctors seem to be better than the Congress's spin doctors, Mr. Singh.
No, the point I'm trying to make is, has anyone heard Mr. Narendra Modi making that statement of I can? Or,
yes, Gujarat can. It's on the web. It's on YouTube.
So YouTube can be. How do you know? How do you date back this to 2004?
Okay.
It could have been produced yesterday. You mean to say that Obama copied Narendra Modi?
That's what he's saying. He's saying that Obama is a fake Modi.
Now another Twitter posting is that Swami Vivekananda said so.
Correct.
Then another time this is Bhagwan Ram said so. So this is how the Modi Nama goes.
But some would say that he's found a poor man's Mani Shankar Iyer and Jairam Ramesh. What do you say?
Well, I think he's found a very rich man's Mani Shankar in Jairam Ramesh. Yes, certainly. I think Jairam, in many ways, has an understanding of my major concerns. And at the same time, he has a much greater faith in the market than I do. And whereas I'm proud to be called a socialist, I think he would be fairly alarmed if somebody were to suggest that he was a socialist. But I think he's doing a very good job in rural development. I only wish he would be a little more friendly with me, a little more opportunity to interact with him. But if he doesn't particularly like me, what can I do about it? One lives with all kinds.
And finally, what makes Cover Story so different from the rest of the run-of-the-mill political shows is that we don't just stick to the political, we also take a look at the personal. You tend to use very complicated words in a sentence. Is it your law degree or is it...
Well, it has nothing to do with, it all has to do with the fact that, you know, all of us after graduation, you know, take that graduate management admission test. And one of the things that you need to bug up is possibly a dictionary to get through that. So I guess it has just stayed with me.
I think that dictionary you followed is doing very well. You were a good sport. You put up some caricatures of yourself also.
Well, I think, you know, the one good thing that one must do is try and keep in touch with their childhood, you know, try and keep rediscovering, if you can, you know, the little innocence which is there amongst all of us.
So therefore, one thing which I continuously do is to read comics. If you would see it on my Lok Sabha profile, it's mentioned among the ring, if you can, you know, the little innocence which is there amongst all of us. So therefore, one thing which I continuously do is to read comics. If you would see it on my Lok Sabha profile, it's mentioned among the various interests is comics. So therefore, the Archies, the Asterix, Obelix, the Tintins, the Commandos, you know, and you know, some of the new ones which have come out. I see them all. I mean, I'm a very, very avid watcher of the cartoon channels. So the Powerpuff Girls and the rest of them, you know, and honestly, at times when you go back home in the evening, you know, it is far more interesting than what is usually running on contemporary channels at that point in time.
What else does Nitin Gadkari like apart from solo and biomass and cricket?
I'm making ghazals. I like Jagjit Singh ji. I like good music.
What's your favorite song?
तुमसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी परेशान हूँ मैं.
Do you miss being president?
No, not at all. I never miss it. I am happy now. I have no tensions, no problem, no complication. वचसा सततम वदनीयम. मुंह से मैं वही बोलता हूँ. लोक हितम मम करणीयम. लोगों का हित करना यही मेरा कर्तव्य है, यही मेरा कार्य है, यही मैं करते रहता हूँ.
I know that despite being an MP, you also are very fond of playing the guitar. You're fond of music. Do you find time for all that?
Well, when I was an MP, I did manage to find time. I don't think you find time. You have to make the time really, and I managed to make the time. And
you've been playing at concerts also.
Well, I had a band when I was a member of parliament, and until the day I became a minister, I had a band which was called Tightrope, a nice blues band which I was very, very proud of, and I still am. And we played a few shows in different cities in India. Unfortunately, when I became a minister, things changed. But I do manage to find time to occasionally pick up my guitar. My strings are a bit rusty, so that gives you an idea of how often I play. But music is still a big part of my life. So even if I can't play an instrument or play with a band, I will always have music around me because that's my meditation and that's my salvation, frankly.
I believe you do have a pilot's license. Is that the pressure of your surname or you genuinely want to?
You know, when I was younger, maybe it was because when I was a teenager, my last name is a little uncommon, and my father was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, so you know it's okay for him to be called that. And when I was very young in school, I used to think about this, you know, but I had interest in flying, so I got my license when I was quite young. I think I was about 17 or 18 when I got my flying license. So it's something I wanted to do out of interest.
Would I be right in calling you an accidental politician?
I never thought that I would be in politics.
You wanted to join an MBA, do an MBA?
Yeah, I always wanted to work for the World Bank or for the UN when I was in college, and that's where that's where I was trying to get to. But unfortunately, my father died when I was there, before I could even go for the MBA. So
that was very traumatic. Your father, late Mr. CPN Singh, he was a minister in Mrs. Gandhi's cabinet, and in fact, I recall when he was shot and you were there. You tried to save him. You were also shot. There was a dispute. Yeah. That was a very traumatic time for you. And soon after that, you were plunged into. You had to take.
Yeah, well,
how old were you?
I was 24 years at that time, so that was unfortunate at that time. But people say politicians' children always want to make sure that the children are politicians too. Well, my father didn't ever want me to be in politics, and I myself didn't want to be in politics. But one thing led to the other. I had to shift back after my father's death to where I come from, in UP Parana. And well, here I am.
I remember in school you were called Richie. Was it because, why were you called Richie in school?
I was called because when I joined school, my mother had made this night suit for me. And I was in boarding school, so my name is, as you know, Ratanjit RPN Singh. So she made this R on my night. She had embroidered. Now you know how mothers are. So she had this R on my night suit. So it's when somebody saw it, he said, "Is your name Richie?" It was that R like the Richie Rich kind of thing. So
I have only seen you in a sari once. I think President Obama's dinner. Otherwise, is wearing salwar kameez part of the Punjabi Kudim image, or you more comfortable in a salwar kameez?
I used to love wearing saris and my jeans and like everybody else. But when I got into politics, I was told that we're a traditional party and you must cover your head And because that's the way all the women in the villages are. So when President Obama came like anybody else, there was a lot of excitement. I wore a sari and I went, and I was a little shocked when I got some mail saying that, you know, when you had the chance to showcase our Punjabi culture and our Punjabi outfit, you went and wore a sari. We were very disappointed.
Known as the most talkative Badal, how do you react to that?
My father-in-law would be horrified, and so is my husband. My father.
But they both don't talk much.
They don't, so that's why they're horrified, no? Because my father-in-law thinks I must learn to keep my mouth shut. Oh. And my husband thinks I should give him a chance.
Ever see yourself as an outsider, or you always...
No, I never felt an outsider in Delhi. No, certainly not. No, because I've lived here most of my life. I was educated, schooled here, and everything, college also. And those are perhaps the most formative years for you to fall in love in or out of any particular place that you're in. Yeah. So I've never felt uncomfortable in Delhi. It's like it's a passion for me.
You've written, I believe, a poem on the Delhi rape case. You also now writing.
I was very moved by what happened. क्या हुआ दामनी तुझ दमकती जान को, किस तरह पूरा करे कोई अब तेरे अरमान को, पूछे तुम्हारा पता अब कहाँ, ढूंढे कैसे रास्ते के मिटते निशान, क्या हुआ दामनी एक दमकती जान को।
मोदी की अदालत में हम सब है मुजरिम, खुद को कहता है हीरो, 100 में से 100 नंबर खुद को देता, हम सबको देता है 0। मोदी खुद ही का हीरो। गिलास पानी का आधा भरा है, आधे में कहता हवा है। हैरान हैं हम इस हीरो को, ये बात कैसे पता है। हवा ना जाने हवा बदलेगा, हवाबाज है ये हीरो, हम सब है 0।
जिसे हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं ना, नजर लग गई, हिंदुस्तान को नजर लग गई।
शायद UPA 1 को नजर लग गई। UPA 1 was better than UPA 2.
UPA 2 would have been also better, मगर नजर लग गई। क्या करें, पता नहीं क्या हो गया, कुछ ऐसी गलती हो गई जिससे कि हम लोग पे एक वो धब्बा आ गया। Otherwise, the Prime Minister did his best. He worked hard. खुदा से ही दुआ करते हैं कि इससे निकल आए, और क्या, निकल जरूर आएंगे। Nothing that will not. India cannot stop. I am confident about one thing. Whether we are in power or not, India cannot stop. India has to move on. And India will rise. It will rise.
Well, we hope you enjoyed watching this very special, if a bit nostalgic edition of Cover Story. Well, that's all for now. And from all of us, the team at Cover Story, we wish you a very happy New Year.